In the headlines, UWP presents policy recommendations on energy restoration. Northeast Comprehensive dominates in netball clash on the East Coast, and 3 main carnival attractions excluded from this year's calendar of events. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details right after this.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Fouet, dès pour commencer la vie, ou peut que jamais même bagaille encore. La vie en wis plus en plus contre qu'a passé. Ou s'adapter maladie contre HIV, AIDS, syphilis et claps. Comme ça pas point chance, servir qu'on homme, on roba tout temps.
Smart men, make the right choices. Use a condom. Use a condom. Use.
A message brought to you from the National HIV/AIDS Response Program, reminding you to be safe this carnival.
Welcome back. First up, the United Workers' Party is making a number of recommendations on how government can speed up the recovery and reconstruction in the energy sector. In a statement released on Wednesday, UWP leader Lennox Linton says 4 months after Hurricane Maria, 85% of consumers across the country are still without electricity. Linton says the economy continues to suffer from inadequate energy to spur national revitalization of income-earning and employment-generating business activity. The UWP leader believes it is ill-advised for government to leave the restoration of electricity solely to DOMLEC. Among the UWP leader's recommendation is a partnership between government and DOMLEC, in which government would seek grant funding and soft loans for full restoration of electricity in 6 months, to have 100% of Dominica's electricity generated from renewable sources by 2023. DOMLEC's restoration needs after Category 5 Hurricane Maria stands at 90 million EC dollars. Onto matters of education, an increased number of Venezuelan scholarships to Dominican students is on the cards for the 2018 academic year. The disclosure was made by Venezuela's ambassador to Dominica during an interview with Channel 5 News earlier this week. The ambassador says the aim is to increase the number of scholarships to 20, up from an average of 15.
I hope that is the goal, no? The goal, that is our hopeful that this year we have to send a student to Venezuela. Venezuela, with the scholarship, no have problem. They are very sure in our country. They have no problem. They are security, no problem. For this year, not too much. You know that we have problem with the our account block. Maybe 20 scholarships. What car? I don't know, but maybe 20.
Ambassador Perella reiterated his country's commitment to aid in the development of Dominica's education sector.
Venezuela wants to help Dominica. Venezuela is not to stop the commitment that we have with Dominica. The people of Dominica can trust in us that we are continuing our commitment.
How many Dominican students are in Venezuela? Do you know?
In this moment, I believe that we have not too much. Before we have more, maybe 50 students. That no, in this moment, that no, we don't have a scholarship in medicine, for medical. They are in Cuba. They moved to Cuba.
In more top stories, this year's carnival activities are being celebrated without the staging of 3 significant shows. While it's already known that the National Queen Show will not be hosted for this carnival season, the Miss Teen Dominica and Carnival Princess pageants are also not included on the official carnival calendar. Meantime, DFC's events director Val Coffey said the hurricane's blow has made it financially impractical to support the organization of carnival at the community level.
We are unable to offer support to the communities, but I know some communities are actively preparing. Our advice is to prepare with the best considerations in light of the limitations that we experience in terms of lighting, in terms of roadworks. So we're asking people to be cautious on the security aspect. We are trying our best to assist where we can, but we do not have the resources. Our budget was considerably cut down, which is expected in light of what we're facing. But whatever you can do in your communities, do it well, do it with the limitations that you have, but understand that we are living in different times now, and that you have to be guided by the fact that we have to be each brother's keeper.
The opening of Mass Dominic 2018 takes place on Friday with a street festival on Roseau Bayfront from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Next up, Massey United Insurance is reporting prompt response to claims associated with Hurricane Maria, but there are still concerns over several clients still unable to start repairs. Idona John Baptist has that story.
Massey's claims manager for Barbados and regional territories, Barry Luke, says the company has been doing its utmost to respond to claims without delay. Luke presented at the Dominica Business Forum's Housing Symposium on Thursday.
We've made sure that we responded to the disaster to our customers right away. I think we had a team on the ground just about 4 days after the disaster. As soon as accessibility was we were able to access the country. We've seen houses totally destroyed. We've actually paid claims for houses that have been totally destroyed. So there was just rubble left. We've actually had 1 or 2 homeowners where we went to visit the actual property and there was no property to look at. So the property was completely destroyed or wiped out by the river. We've seen lots of roof damage, so many of our clients have their roofs off. Our commercial clients have had all their contents damaged, supermarkets, hardware stores, all those persons have had some really bad damage.
Assessments of properties insured with Massey continue, with over 200 claims being settled so far.
We've had just short of 400 claims, and we've probably settled over 200 and something of those claims already. And those who are unsettled, we are now working through with those persons. Some of the challenges we've had is some people moved away from Dominica right after the hurricane because of the devastation of their home. Loved ones sent for them and they've moved out, and we're trying to work with them to get them back here so we can do the assessments. Waiting on contractors to get estimates in a timely fashion, and obviously working with the big commercial clients to actually put all of their commercial estimates together, which can take some time due to the size of their claims.
When you have to look at the level of damage, I'm talking about the number of claims that you've addressed or responded to so far. What does that look like in terms of the dollar figure?
Dollar figure, we've probably spent, in terms of interim payments and things that we forwarded to Dominica, including 2 of our biggest claims here, that could look anywhere over $40 million. And we are continuing to pay those claims. And, I estimate that we probably have maybe another $30 million to spend.
Luke says the company has set a target of having 90% claims settled by February.
Our adjusters are here almost every week. One goes out, another one comes in, and we're working right through to get all of these claims settled as soon as possible. Our goal is to have 90% of these claims settled by hopefully by next month. So that by the time the hurricane season opens back, we have a clear slate to start on it.
While several of its clients' claims have been settled, Luke says a shortage of building materials on island is delaying reconstruction efforts.
Even though the persons have been settled, the difficulty that the country is having is building materials. So the tarpaulins over the roof mean that we require lumber, we require nails, we require aluminum or galvanized. We require shingles, whatever types of roof coverings each of the persons are using. Those things are not available. And I think in terms of whatever the incoming time frame is for these things is what is keeping them back from initiating repairs. And that is the difficulty that we're having. And even if some of them have the materials, in talking with some of the clients that have been settled, they've said that then they have to wait on the contractor to be available to start with his team to start work. The large ones that have had lots of damage, even though their settlements are not completed, we've paid interim payments to them. So we've paid interim payments so that they can start to put their roofs back on, get their businesses back up and running, and have something to start to mitigate their loss with. So we've done that for the large commercial clients and corporate clients.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. When we come back, not so good news for international diving tourists this year.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
Welcome back. Divers from the international community interested in exploring Dominica's underwater sites for the first time have been advised to put it off till next year. Andrea Lee tells us more.
The suggestion from former president of the Dominica Water Sports Association, Simon Walsh. Walsh explained that assessments have been carried out at the various dive locations. However, due to the slow rebound of the dive industry, first-timers to the island should wait until 2019 so that all is in place for a quality dive experience.
It took a while for dive shops to get their boats back up in place. It took a while for people to find a way to fill tanks, because you need electricity to fill tanks, and most people don't have electricity. So really it was only what tanks dive shops had in store before Maria that we could use, and then a lot of boats were out of the water, jetties are missing. So the dive infrastructure has taken a bit of a blow, so it took us a while to be able to go out and do much. But in the last few weeks, Dive Dominica has sent a boat out on Sundays, and we've gone out and have dived a couple of sites in the south. And we just had a team here from Reef Check, which is an internationally recognized association that does exactly that appraisal of reefs after major disasters. So they just left yesterday. They dove south, central, and north dive sites. So in brief, what we have to report is that it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Diving, I think, will be fine. I know I paid out of my own pocket to go to one of the big dive shows and represent Dominica because I thought it was really important. And I had people crying on my shoulder. They loved Dominica so much. You know, they couldn't believe we were there. I think it was the most important dive show I've certainly ever been to. Just showing that Dominica's alive, we're standing up, we're here, we're ready for divers. And every single one of them wanted to come back. So I had to tell people, look, the infrastructure's not quite ready yet. Give us 6 months, give us a couple of months. You can come back maybe February or March, we might be ready. But every single dive shop, my message was book for next year, book for next year, book for next year. Because when we open our doors, we're going to need business.
Walsh pointed out that the availability of electricity plays a major role in the dive industry getting back on its feet.
North has two dive shops that I think are fully operational. The central part has 1 dive shop that's fully operational. Down in the south, right now I think Dive Dominica is the only one actually offering diving, although their rooms are compromised and they still don't have electricity and they need a new jetty. So I mean, there's issues that the private sector has to take on, and hopefully we can get some support from the public sector as well. But if we don't get electricity back to the businesses, we really can't open. We need to be offering, you know, running credit card machines and filling tanks and all of the things that we need to do as part of our business. And if we can't do those, we can't really offer quality service, which is one of the reasons I was saying I think next year is better. Because if they come back now, I think if repeat visitors came now, they would understand. They know what Dominica is and always has been, and in their heads they will say, wow, you know, things are rough, but they had nice diving, they had some nice hiking, and they can see that things will come back. But I think if people came here for the first time and saw the way we are now, they would be a little bit shocked.
As regards the cruise to tourists who will be visiting the island from this month, Walsh says the challenge now will be in finding suitable snorkel sites for the expected visitors.
There's no denying it that some sites took some significant damage, but other sites are perfect. So on Sunday we dove Labim, which is a 1,500-foot wall right by Soufrière, and I believe due to the depth of that wall being so extreme, so close to shore, it's almost 100% perfect. We did Dangleben's Pinnacles, which is another dive site in the Marine Reserve in the south, and that in anything deeper than 60 feet, large areas of that were perfect. And then when you go in shallower towards shore, you start to find some trees and you start to find some signs of broken sponges and broken corals. So basically, the shallower you go, anywhere you go, the more you're seeing damage. So I think one of the challenges we're going to be facing now is actually finding good snorkeling sites for our cruise ship passengers.
In terms of cleanup of the underwater sites, Walsh says that some work has started in the north of the island. However, experienced divers would be needed to undertake this cleanup project. Reporting for Channel 5 News, I am Andrea Louis.
We continue with this item where Parliamentary Representative for Portsmouth, Ian Douglas, says he is pleased with the pace of the town's recovery in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Minister Douglas says for the most part, Portsmouth is up and running and in full business mode with shops and supermarkets open.
Economic activity is I would say, getting back to a pre-Maria level. In Portsmouth, you can almost not, if you're not astute, you can almost not see the impact of Hurricane Maria, with probably the exception of some of the roofs still to be covered and some of the homes that have been damaged. But economic activity itself and business in the town is back to, I would say, or almost back to post-Maria levels, pre-Maria levels, sorry, which is good for us. It helps boost the confidence of the people.
Douglas says there are a number of indicators that things are slowly returning to what they were prior to Hurricane Maria. He says while this is good for business, it also promotes confidence in the people as they face the future.
On a Saturday, you have all of the small villages from Calibishi to Penville, Vickers, Thibault, coming down with fresh produce, dashing, tanya, vegetables. You have the fishing communities of Colliho, Jubla, Biosh coming down to Portsmouth to the fisheries complex. I mean, even the fishermen in Portsmouth themselves, even the yachting community, the tour guides, I can see some yachts coming into the harbour now.
Douglas had a word of encouragement for those who are still somewhat despondent.
I think people just need to be a bit patient. I think some people are apprehensive because, I mean, in the next 5 to 6 months we'll be going into another hurricane season, so a number of persons are a bit apprehensive about receiving help to cover their roofs and renovate their homes, and some people you have to build homes for them, however temporary, because they were in the shelters and stuff, and we have been doing some of that, maybe not as quickly as we would have hoped, but it's a massive task, so it's a task that has to be done properly. It's not something that can be rushed, when you have government monies being spent, you need to account for it and make sure that it's done properly. So probably we've been moving slower than we would like, but we're getting the job done, and and that is maybe the aspect of the recovery process that we are focusing on right now in this area and throughout the country, and for the most part, I can say so far so good.
We continue with sports, where the sports division says it's on track with the preparation of student athletes for outside competition for the most part this year. Head of Sports Division Trevor Shillingford observed that while his team has missed some target dates for student training, it is working with what they have. Student athletes are expected to take part in netball, track and field, volleyball, football, cricket, and basketball competitions this year.
Presently, we have a group of 24 girls preparing for participation at the CNA, that is the Caribbean Netball Association, under 16 netball tournament. And that will be held, that's expected to be held in St. Lucia in early April. So presently our girls are in training, preparing for this tournament. And we also have coming up in April the Carifta Games. You also have the Commonwealth Games, which is also coming up in sometime in April. And presently teams, or the teams for the Commonwealth Games, they have been individuals to represent the various teams have been identified, and that is been taken care of by the Dominican Olympic Committee. The Carifta Games, the process of qualification is ongoing. From the sports division standpoint, we intend to provide the student athletes with the final opportunity for qualification when we stage our secondary schools athletics championship, and that will be held towards the end of March. So that would provide a final opportunity for our students to qualify. But in terms of the commitment, I think that we are on track. It is always a case of having the financial resources available, but in terms of the preparation, things are already in place in terms of preparation for these regional and international commitments. In terms of the Windward Island Secondary Schools, or Windward Island School Games, in 2018 the games will be held in St. Lucia, and the process of selection is ongoing. We were expected that our actual preparation in terms of team training would have commenced in January, but one would well understand or well appreciate that given the delays that we had with the reopening of schools, that actually affected the process. So we may have to look at a later start to our preparations for the Windward Island School Games.
Meantime, Shillingford applauded government support in improving the chances of developing the local netball product.
We have also received an invitation from AFNA, that is the continental body for netball in our region. AFNA meaning the America's Federation of Netball Associations. Recently, the government of Dominica, through the sports division, assisted the Dominica Netball Association in meeting their outstanding dues to the regional, continental, and international bodies. And as a result, Dominica is now in a better position to capitalize on the various programs that these international and continental bodies are offering. And we recently received an invitation from AFNA to have our champion secondary school netball team participate in a Champions of Champions Schools Netball Tournament, which will be held in Jamaica sometime in July of 2018. So that is an offer that we are actively giving consideration. I have been in contact with, in discussion with the treasurer of AFNA, who is working along with her committee, that is tournament committee, to ensure that there is a representation from Dominica. And given the present situation, they have given the commitment that they will do all in their powers to assist Dominica in participating in this inaugural championship, which will take place in Jamaica in July of 2018.
2018 is a packed year on the sports division's calendar of activities, as the body has already encountered challenges meeting targets for the various disciplines. And 29 points separated Northeast Comprehensive from Casabru Secondary in the 2017-2018 Secondary Schools Under-16 Netball Championships on Wednesday. It seemed like a one-sided battle when the teams from the East fought for dominance, but it was NECS that had the upper hand in the end to win 34-5 against Casabru Secondary. Playing at Margot, the lethal Ethelyn Telemark scored the lion's share of her team's points with 24 from 37 attempts, while Nayoka James added 9 from 16. In a losing effort, Shari Coffey and Chrisana Joseph came together to score the points for Casabru Secondary. To end the news, the headlines again. UWP presents policy recommendations on energy restoration. Northeast Comprehensive dominates in netball clash on the East Coast, and the 3 main Carnival attractions excluded from this year's calendar of activities. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To all our viewers all around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.